Hey everyone, and welcome back to another altered gameplay video. We're continuing testing with the Sigismar deck, see how we're going to go. Um, Obviously a 0-3 last time was a bit disappointing out of the gate, but I think the deck had potential. Mostly it felt like reps are required, so we're gonna do a bit of grinding off camera as well, see what we can do to work on the deck. But this is the list today. So we're playing now 2 town squares, 3 license withdrawals, 3 conscriptions, 2 orders cries, all from Whispers of the Maze. Um, this card feels pretty good, surprisingly. Getting the token off, once it's gone to reserve, getting the token off of your hero ability does feel good, so it means you've got access to that mana. Obviously, if you do that, you're only getting a 1/1/1 for 1 again, I suppose. But it really pops off if it's the second thing you can play and you can dodge that sabotage. Really makes for some good turns, lets you play off of a slightly lower curve, which I've found has been important, because if you can keep yourself under 8 mana, it makes it a lot easier to turn on this one. Or keep it turned on, I suppose. Getting a sleep, creating a token. Obviously, if you sleep it, it comes back pretty well buffed from hand, and making your token that turn does feel good. Lets you get rid of something that your opponent plays that turn as well. Very telegraphed play, so we'll see how that goes. See if it eats removal, see if it eats, or see if it does work with that fleeting. Sort of disincentivizes your opponent from playing, so you can get a little bit ahead, which is really where you want it to be. This is pretty straightforward. Got 3 instances of sleep, 2 rallying calls, so you can buff one of your own creatures and then bring it back slightly stronger as well. So we'll see how that one goes. Everything else is pretty standard. Lists I've seen online are running the common copy of Order Spy. Not really interested in taking on that extra token from reserve, but we'll see how that goes. Obviously plays very well with the town square, so 2 creatures for 2 mana makes it pretty easy to gain some morale counters and keep this one well fed. We are fairly low on the number of creatures we play per turn, so this could be something that comes online every second turn or so and lets us build up with a big turn here and there. So we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, not a lot of changes from the last deck. I'm pretty excited though. This is one of 2 front runners to take to the upcoming tournament. It's the deck I have the most reps on. Obviously, first thing people do when they start playing a game is they get one of the starter decks. Sigismar is the hero out of that one. Makes it pretty straightforward as a way to get into the game and stay strong. So I'm excited. We'll see if we can get a bit more success with it, and see how we go. See if there's any plays we could have done better, things that we can think about for next time, and I'll take all of that information moving forward. Got a decision to make in the next month or so. Done a pod order to request all of the cards that we need for this deck, as well as the Izmir one we'll be seeing at some point in the future as well. But yeah, let's crack on. Quick deck tech. We've seen a lot of these cards before. There's not a lot of crazy decisions to be made. So let's have a go. See you in the first game. Alright, here we are with our second iteration, Bleeny's 2 deck. We're actually running 40 cards. Oh well, too time to change it. We're stuck with this list for now. Alrighty, what do we got here? A handful of 2 drops and 3 drops. License withdrawal will be good, as they'll always have a boosted character. Order to tourney draws us a card. Field reinforcements might win us an expedition and draw us a card.
2, 3. Teamwork training will probably do something at some point as well, won't it? That's alright. We'll do it like this. Draw our card first. Conscription. That's not going to be super good versus them. Now we can get blown out here if they play 2 efficient creatures. Unfortunately, didn't land in a 1-drop. Alright, that ain't too bad. Going 1 for 1 there's not too much of a worry. If we doubled up on one side, he would have just been able to block us. So we'll take that. This is too many conscriptions. So we know where our opponent's going to have. Oh no, they play the Mooner Druid. I was about to say that we should get some sort of value out of the conscription here. We'll set up our town square. This one's been good so far. We don't quite produce as many tokens as we normally would. We have to play the Audis Attorney here to trade 1 for 1, so we don't get the card draw out of that, but that's okay. So our opponent's probably cheering as well, but we like advancing. Right, everything's tied up, so a rare spot where field reinforcements will be good. I think we'll drop the conscription here. Choose what to do. We don't have to worry about the farm just yet. But there's that little mouse out of Whispers of the Maze. That means that green does have access to sabotage now. Okay, so we've got some choices here. We could just send the license withdrawal on the spindle. We could also sleep our own attorney. I'm debating what is best to do here. Because playing the Sandman, if it was actually of value on our hero side, I'd be considering it right now. But we could... I think we'll sleep our attorney here, and if they want to contest, they can. But they might not want to. Just take a 1-for-1 trade and give us our big O next turn. That's what I'm hoping anyway. I've really been enjoying the Sandman in Sigismar decks. What is going on here? This conscription is annoying. Pass the turn. Just get rid of that one quickly. Alright, so they've taken a 1-for-1 trade. They'll keep their 2 creatures. I think what we're going to try and do here I'll have to see what it is that we draw. I actually like the legate here. Oh, do we have any ways to make tokens here? Because giving something fleeting would actually be pretty spicy. Alright. I actually think sabotaging something if they can't get it into the can't give it anchored once again is going to be the most agreeable thing. Give it to the aloe vera, that's perfectly reasonable. Alrighty, we will play the new unique and we'll target itself. And give it the 2 boosts for next turn, so that when we create our token, at the start of the turn, we can give the aloe vera or the spindles some form of fleeting. Sorry. Okay, we'll play the legate, we'll get rid of this spindle harvester so they got 1 less thing to play next turn. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gift of Self could be anything though. Even a license withdrawal. Alright, so We are struggling on this side. We can get rid of something. We'll play the legate over here and disincentivize them from playing anything else. Again, a conscription would have been good. And producing a bunch of tokens would be pretty spicy on the board here with the town square. I've noticed we're not producing as many tokens as we used to. So this alchemist has felt a little weak. I think the reason for that is that we're not playing the cadets or the gatekeepers that sort of produce them on turn. Obviously we've gone off the orders carriers as well. That all would have been outlined in the deck tech. I'm expecting some form of sap duende out here. Alright, what can we do? We may be getting greedy here, and they may be waiting with some sort of permanent removal for our town square. Alright, we're going to use the town square finally. Been a bit of a slow going here. Okay, so we can tie it up here, at the very least. We would keep something around with anchored from the Moon Druid. Hopefully don't have a 1-drop. Spindle Harvesters here would be a right mess. Hey, we did it. We are behind on cards, unfortunately. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. We can play everything in hand. It's not ideal, but we can do it. Oh man, how good would a conscription have been right here? Instead we get these two stinky legates. Unfortunately, the alchemist is only from hand as well. Our opponent has a breadth of options, and we're mostly just going to be playing everything out from our hand. Okay, and they're just going to anchor everything. Alright, where are we better off playing? Spindle Harvesters. So they can give something else anchored with the beans and the nurture as well. We'll see if we can tire our opponent out. Okay, we are praying for some sort of mass removal here, but as you would all know, we do not have access to any. The good thing is that we do get access to our town square boost for next turn if we have all 5 creatures out. Now I'm wondering what our opponent's thinking about here. They could be wondering if it's not worth it to contest here. Because they can see we've got an additional 4 power on the board, plus potentially a 5th and whatever comes out of our hand, which we know is 2, so plus 7. They want to keep stuff. Nothing that they're presenting here. So they could Moonicare give her a nurture to give it anchored. How many additional power is that in blue? I don't think they can make it. However, playing the 5th out means that we do get our town square for next turn, which actually might be more important than keeping one of these legates around. Ah, I should have played it on the other side. That's foolish. Okay, that's what I should have done. Yeah, I should have played it on the other side. Then I would have been able to snipe something out of their reserve. Okay, I think that counts as a misplay. They're going to have more resources. Would have taken their best card. This beauty sleep might mess us up. Okay. Interestingly enough, if we can get rid of the Ogun early, they can't actually win this turn. One, two, three, 5, 6. Okay, this is interesting. So we can't get rid of the Ogun. But we might be able to go over the top of it. What's looking more likely here? Unfortunately, plants. They've only got one plant on this side. Like the sneezer shroom. One, two. Okay, they've got 3 plants on here. So Ogun actually represents more power on the hero side. They are reading. If they have removal, it's just the end of the game. Ooh. Two, three, four. I think they've got it. I think they've got it. And now I'm wondering if it might have been. So they can drop 1, 2 plants at least. Am desperately hoping that they Loki. If we could play out both cards here, we might be in with a shot. They've obviously got a heap load more mana and a lot more options. They wisely choose to play the shroom. But they know they've got it. If we had one more 1-drop, one of our Orders Criers or a Trooper, we might have been able to succeed here. They're going to choose a million different options to anchor their spells. So what do we get? An extra 7 out of this, so 17. So they still advance in both. Yeah, another creature may well have done it. They miscounted. We still advance. What happens here? Is it a tie? Or do they win because they advance twice? I think we've lost here. Something tells me. When they start with a, what is that, 60, 51, 72 power? To 16? Interesting. I truly believe they could pass here. And we would not be able to. So we're going to concede. It's alright, I made a game of it. That was fun. Absolutely gagging for some form of mass mass character removal though, weren't we? What do we have as options there? Kraken's Wrath? Not that many in the colours, I'm afraid. Oh well, on to the next one. Alrighty, here we are, game 2, Bleenies 2. We'll see how we go. We're playing first against whatever it is our opponent chooses. Fanis and Senko. Alright, we may get some ideas out of what to play out of this deck. So we're going to have to pay attention. Gift of Self will be important with keeping up. Keeping up with what they do. Spy. I guess we're going to have to pass on the Conscription and the Rallying Call as well. Although there are lists out there planning Beauty Sleep. It's alright. We'll try this. I've got an Orders Trooper. We can bounce a 2-drop. Or we can draw a bunch of cards. See what our opponent wants to do. Okay, they draw 2. Now we have a choice to make. Do we draw 2 as well? I don't think so. I think we save it and we take the expedition that's on offer. Alright, that makes our decision easy. Though I am tempted to play 2 town squares this turn and let them even it up. It would be funny, but we won't do it. Interesting choice. They have correctly assessed that we are low on creatures, although there are many hands that we could have in this game that would make that a less than ideal play. Spindle Harvesters. Gain anchored at dusk. If I have 2 or more boosts, return a card other than me from reserve to your hand. So this will not trigger this turn, but we will let them get 1 back. We shall send 1 of the gifts of self. Targeting our companion, choosing them, getting our 2 characters. See what they do. So they could blizzard us away, and that would be a bit of a blowout. So if they have 2 spells, they have to have 2 spells in hand that they can cast this turn. Because otherwise they would not be getting their spell back at all. However, if we bounce the Spindle Harvester, they can actually play it on the hero side. I think we do this. I think we actually get rid of the Tooth Fairy. And then if they have their 2 spells, unless one of them's a Joyride or Sap Infusion or something like that, they have to use other resources, which they've now done. They won't be getting their I suppose a Joyride does it actually. It'll give it 3 boosts. And they'll get the Joyride back. They'll use it on their rare Spindle Harvesters to advance. So we'll stay 1 ahead. But they got no value out of their unique on the front half. Okay, so we could play everything in our hand and hold it here. However, I'm concerned the Rallying Call is a luxury we can't afford. They get to go first. I'll have to see what they wish to do. Studious Disciples. I think Gift of Self is better used
later in a turn, if once you know that you've sacrificed an expedition, sorry, pause there. However, I'm going to try and portray weakness here. Because if our opponent casts the Conjuring Seal, seeking to maintain parity with the cards they've drawn this turn, and stay ahead on that axis, we may be able to catch them out and sabotage away their Spindle Harvester. Though we could play License Withdrawal in the Trooper. Because we drew the withdrawal, I'm actually less scared of the Spindle Harvesters here. Alright, we've set up the trap. What do they play? Alright, they didn't fall for the trap, but we do get a 2-for-1 here. They have nothing to follow up with to stop us from advancing. So we are a little bit ahead. Behind on cards, obviously we expect that against a purple deck. Although we have forced them to overextend on this turn in order to keep up, which is good. We're happy about that. So they've got 4 cards in hand, 1 on the field. We've got access to 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Sandman will be good. However, it means we can't play everything out this turn. Return a card. And it is a Dusk ability as well, so we can snipe that if we can play the License Withdrawal late this turn. Okay, so we know they have a Conjuring Seal in hand, so they could play that for 3. Assuming some form of removal as well. Unfortunately, the only card that we can use that pressures a double win here is the Legate. So what I think we'll do is we will threaten at this side anyway. Will we see the early Conjuring Seal here to set up the rest of their turn? Not yet. Please, we need a way to boost. You need to boost your character this turn. I am begging you. Boost. Boost the unique. I've never wanted anything so bad in my life. See. They did it. Alright, what are they doing now? They have choices. They have drawn a lot of cards. Give it to the frog. We can do no more. I cast a spell. Boost the spindle harvesters. Will sabotage something out of their reserve. Small victories. I am very concerned here about what they could do. They've got 2 mana. If they pass, they lose. So they have to cast... Casting a spell stops them from losing, because they can boost their spindle harvesters. If they have a handful of creatures, one of them should have at least 1 power in brown. So they are pondering some form of decision. Conscription does it, gives them a character on this side by targeting their own reserve. This is the that was the first time I've ever considered cutting a weight out of a video. This ain't it, Chief. Alright. Do we hold on to both cards? Just draw a card of our field reinforcements? Do we create a soldier token and threaten? We shall pass here. Staying at 7 also enables our Alchemist Unique with the sleep. If that were to be the card we draw. Field reinforcements. I think one of our expeditions is a bit ahead here. So I'm going to draw a card. That's a pretty good card. We'll play an tourney on this side.
they have a 1-drop in hand. What 1-drops do they have? Starfish does it, but I don't think anyone's playing that. We've already established that card as garbage. Studious Disciples blocks it for them. A Magical Training, obviously. A Joyride. A Rhyme Frost. Any 1-drop spell or 1-drop creature here that they could play wins it for them. So it really comes down to whether or not they have one in hand. Realistically. So I'm not sure what is causing the delay here. You may see this, you may not. I may just be rambling into the ether for no reason. But hopefully they cut me off. Have a beauty sleep. There you go. Okay. Don't know why it took them so long to decide to play that. They lose the game if they don't have it. Are they deciding they could target their Mage Dancer? Sorry, a little frustrated there. They would have had that in hand the whole time. They should know that they could be targeting something, and they're not. The Conjuring Seal and the Beauty Sleep may go here. I'm going to pass here because we've got 7 mana worth to use here. And take the opposite choice here, and we're actually going to try and overload 1 expedition. Maybe we should have played the Attorney first, actually. If they have a Tooth Fairy in hand, they can bump that one out. They do have one. I believe they're reading my unique here and realizing it may actually not be that good. Definitely should have played the Attorney first. Pull the trigger there. I think I still play the Sandman though. If the Mage Dancer is the only creature in their hand any longer, they just lose. I believe. Oh, Beauty Sleep would stop me from advancing on there. Get them to 2, they can Magical Training. Okay, they've got a second Mage Dancer. We have to target that one. They don't draw any cards. We would have won had we played the attorney first. So this game's on me. It's entirely disappointing. We're just going to try and overload this side. If they have no other creature, they can buff the Tooth Fairy. They'll draw a card. They're looking for a creature, I believe. Yeah, they had it. That's alright. That's a rough one. Especially since we know we probably had the game there at some point. Oh well. On to the next one. Alrighty, here we are. Game number 3 with Bleenies 2. As you can see, I've already started iterating on the deck, but we commit to our 3 games before we move on. It's nice to know I've got some changes planned that I can show you after the game. We're up against Novanka and Blotch. So we are... What are we thinking about doing here? 2 instances of sabotage. It's a bit rough, so we'll get rid of the Legate, the worst of the 2. I'm wondering if this is one of those rare games where we actually send our unique to the mana zone. I genuinely think so. Let's see what they choose to do. We shall play an Order Stripper. All things start with a 1/1. A Martingale. I'm going to be hyper aggressive here. See how that goes for us. It's always easier to go too hard at the start and then fall back. So we'll pass the turn. Roll a 3 becomes a 4. They get to advance 1 for 1. However, they don't get to keep it next turn, which is really what I was looking to get done there. That's why I was so aggressive with the teamwork training. Alright, if we get rid of the Frog Prince here, or the Gift of Self actually, we can use up all of our mana. So we kind of have to think, we have to commit to whether we think they will sabotage early or not.
We'll get rid of the frog here. Make our token. Snowball Commando. Okay, we did not expect exhaust. We were planning for sabotage, thought that might be a bit too aggro out of our opponent. Should have planned for that one. Disappointing from us. That's okay. We'll use our rallying call here. See what our opponent rolls. It is a 1. We take those when they're given to us. It's a very efficient use of cards from us. A field reinforcements is surprisingly good here, once again. See what we get. Ordis Trooper and an Ordis Attorney. We have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the means to use all of our mana. And I think we'll threaten on the companion side here. Sorry. Play out the Attorney, try and disincentivize our opponent from drawing. Let's see. At dusk, up to 1 target character gains fleeting. We'll get rid of our token. It's no longer useful to us. Two license withdrawals is a little too many. Our opponent gives our guy fleeting. We'll see what our opponent wishes to do here. If they want to contest on that side, it is going to cost them something. And I think this is a good spot to use our license withdrawal actually. So we'll send the Incaster to the bin. They can stop us from moving here. They roll a 5, so they do block us. It's a bit of a nothing turn. We sort of trade uniques. Both of them go to the bin a little bit prematurely. They don't know that we've used one of ours as well. Two, three, four, five, 6. Actually think we shall skip the use of our mana here.
mana zone, that is. We don't have to worry about that unique. They may play another one, but we'll deal with that when it comes. The Wayfarer. If you would roll one of my dice, also reveal the top card of your deck. And play the Attorney and threaten on that side as well. So they've got 3 mana. So you get some instance of 3 power plus the extra boost they can get from their Nevenka. Now I'm wondering whether we should create the recruit on the Crier's side. Or draw an extra card. Card could be anything, even a token. That's alright. We'll see what they want to do with their remaining 2 mana. It may line up well, it may not. Roll 4 and a 6. They now get to choose which one to ignore, so they give it a boost. Cast something else. The Ink Caster. Reasonable. Thankfully, nothing in reserve of theirs to return, so a bit of wasted potential for them. They'll be drawing a Martingale this turn. We're going to try and play stuff out of reserve here so the conscription isn't fantastic. That's for other matchups. Goes nuts against Muta decks for one. And Fen and Crowbar for another. We'll see. We've taken the obvious, but also maximum value play. If they have Sabotage in hand. Indeed, they do not. We'll ready our mana orb, tie it up, see what they want to do. A 6 and a 3. No extra card for them. However, they get to choose between Anchored or something else. Still have to cast their card. I'm curious to see what they have. So if they don't play anything, we do get a double advance against one here, which we are going to take. We'll pass. No value for our Sabotage, much like their Ink Caster. And like that, we've taken a small lead. We have an extra token on the field too, which is exciting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to pass. We'll threaten on both sides here. See what they wish to do. Kind of hoping they don't play. Alright, that's good because it'll have a boost, so it's something we can get rid of as well. No free cards for them. We'll contest with the Frog Prince. If they play their card from hand, we will know whether we've won or not. Unless, of course, it draws them another card. We'll get rid of their Trickster and see. Do they have 5 blue power with their last card in hand? What else could it be? I don't think Lyra gets access to Celebration Day or Sakura Brew, anything that could push us back or stop us from advancing. So assuming they don't have a mass board wipe in hand, Blizzard costs 5. Kraken's Wrath isn't in this colour and it also costs 5. Guess we're just going down the list. It's very suspenseful though. This is on the cusp of the first game I've recorded in 2 weeks where we might have won. They draw. We'll pass. They got a acapella training. There we go. We did it. The deck works. Verifiable proof. Up until now, I've kind of had my own doubts, and I'm sure you did too. But there you go. Alright. On to the debrief. See you in a second. Alright, and there you have it. A 1-3 record, so a slight improvement from last time. We're going to have to improve that one. But overall the deck feels pretty good. Sometimes you just miss out on what it is that you need to close the game out, and sometimes you make a silly play. I mentioned it, we could have won that second game had we not been a little greedy and played the Auditor Tourney from reserve, and ended up losing out on that final little race. I think that is a important lesson to take moving forward, especially against those Ysmir decks, to expect sabotage or at the very least some form of exhaust as well. I think the Snowball Commando in the third game caught us a bit off guard as well, so that's going to be a little blind spot that I'm going to need to work on as we move forward and keep testing. You know, playing out a reserve when you're planning out your turn is fairly important. I think sabotage and exhaust being as prevalent as they are, it's likely to come into play at some point in the game. And you know, obviously our opponent's going to be playing around that as well, expecting some form of conscription or sabotage out of us
2. So let's see. Let's go through. Orders Crier felt good. I think that's good. As a 2 of, you could move up to 3 if you wanted. I think were I to do that, I would be looking at ways to produce more creatures, so maybe cut down on some of these ancillary characters like the Frog Prince, the Ortus Trooper, find ways to generate more tokens, which will help improve the synergy with our deck with the Town Square. If we can get that one running pretty much every turn, I think we're going to be in a much better spot. As the solo permanent in our deck, it is susceptible to some form of removal. So it single-handedly turns on all of the permanent removal in our opponent's deck. Obviously, a lot of those spells are modal, so as such, that's a spell that may or may not be directed at one of our characters. And yeah, I'm actually pretty happy where this is at. It feels like a lot of the reason that we're losing is user error, rather than some sort of fault of the deck. So I think if I were pressed and asked to bring a deck to a paper event tomorrow that mattered, I wouldn't be too upset with bringing this one. I think it's just about getting reps. So in the third game, you would have seen a little bit of a preview. We've been fiddling around with a different list as well. So this is the one that's going to be featuring in the next video for Sigismar and Wingspan. A couple of changes. We've upped our count of permanents. We've got back onto the Orders carriers, seeing how that feels. Gone down, I think, as I mentioned in the deck tech, that we're going down from the Orders Spy at rare to the Orders Spy in common. Sorry. And a few other changes as well. Orders Troopers are being reduced in number. We're getting our Foundry mechanics back in to facilitate playing our carriers and our squares ahead of curve, or ahead of where we want to be. I'll make them easier to play as a follow-up to those Foundry mechanic turns. The Frog Prince feels good. Obviously, if we're ever in a situation where there's no brown on the list, it's just one of a few mana positive cards that we have as a way to win an expedition. I like that. I don't think I'll be trying to play the Orders Cadets in that position again, but we'll check and see. As a result of going down from rare to common for the Orders Spies, we found a few spots extra. Obviously that's gone into the mechanics and the troopers, but we've also gone up to rare copies of Rallying Call. So not only does the character gain a boost, instead of just losing a sleep, just gains Anchored instead, so that'll keep stuff around. Plays really well with the Sandman and our Alchemist unique. So we'll look and see if we can get that captured on camera at some point. Yeah, gonna be mucking around with it. I think the most important thing that you're going to be seeing over these Sigismar and Wingspan videos isn't so much trying new things, but seeing where the deck falls short, seeing where I fall short as a player. I am not the best altered player, but I do enjoy it, so that always makes it easier to come into the games, because if you're not basing your self-worth as on your ability as a player, it's easier to pay attention and come at it with a critical mind. One thing I will comment on though, we're going to keep it in the deck. It's the only unique that we own that creates 2 Orders Recruit tokens for dropping a character. So it is a very powerful card, but I found it's actually quite difficult to play around. You're wanting to get ahead early, and sometimes it can make your turns very awkward if you're holding him in hand. Obviously, if you get him at the right time, you can win a double which really puts you in a position to win the game. And he's pretty much always online. That little 3 or more characters clause actually doesn't really, you know, cost you anything as if you play him first where you want to be to follow up with other characters. You've also got your recruit token, so he is pretty much a remove or bust target, which I do like having, but I thought I'd just comment on it. I'm not disappointed with how he plays, but he does have a measurable deck building cost. Alrighty, there we go. Bit of a preview. You'll probably see this one again sooner rather than later, but we'll be testing out a couple of things over the next couple of weeks again. But I'll be playing this one offline as well. Couple of spicy videos on the cards here as well. You know, a couple of curveballs. We'll see if a deck comes in and blows us out of the water over the next couple of weeks. I guess I'm going to have a serious decision to make. Don't know if there's time for me to do a pod order for any different factions, but we're going to give it a go anyway. Who knows? Maybe I'll call the store down and see if they'd accept proxies if I can prove that I own the cards. You know, if I can show that the pod orders on the way just didn't arrive, maybe they'll be accommodating. Who knows? That would be appreciated, but it's not going to be expected, so I'll always be bringing a fully made up paper deck as well. Still a banger of a deck, really fun to play. A lot of decisions to make and a lot of chance for skill expression as well, I suppose. Which I am currently falling short in. We are 1 from 6 on camera. I have won a few games without recording as well. You know, couple of real good ones. But we're gonna keep going into it. We'll see if we can dive a bit deeper into what makes this deck tick and what makes me tick as a player. All right. I am going to check out there. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you next week. Have a good one. Love your work.